Thanks for joining us on Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. Stu Rich and Mike Wood here to take you through a cracking Villiers program. And, well, Navesh Ramdani said he's got the track like carpet, so I'm waiting to get out there on Saturday, and it's going to be a very big difference to the last few very hard, fast tracks at Rose Hill, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be soggy carpet, isn't it? A massive change in conditions this Saturday from dry, fast Rose Hill tracks to a soggy Randwick track. Watch out, bookies, we're coming after you.
Well, look, it's going to be a big one. But before we rip into this week's quaddie, we've just got to allude to one little thing last week. The Christmas stockings were nearly filled. We had Louis C.K. and what could be coming, just not getting let out, and I think they're still trying to get home today.
That was a tough watch for Key Factors followers last week. The first three legs were fine. The last leg, no luck, but you need the racing gods on your side every week.
We do need the racing gods on the side. And look, let's crack into the Villiers. Mike, take us through it.
Yes, so going straight to the first leg of the quaddie, the English Sprint, the 3-year-old set weights, and the Villiers is the second leg of the quaddie. We'll look at that in a second. 1,100 metres, looking at these important race conditions. A strong tempo in this really interesting race at set rates. The conditions will be soft to heavy, we think, on Saturday. It could dry on the day. And watch out for an off-rails bias with the rail back in the true. Looking at the key factors for this particular race, the first leg of the quaddie, a soft track. For all these races on Saturday, a soft track is a key factor for us. Weight, because it's a set weights event, the classier types are suited. And scope, some of these horses haven't had many starts at all. They're on the way up for sure.
Yeah, look, it's not the 500k as the race earlier, but look, it's still a staggering 250k in prize money here, and on to Flemington they go, and then on to Scone after that, so it's great for the series, that's for sure. But let's have a look at the market. And look, the punters have really honed in here on three runners, haven't they? It's Manual at $4.60, Miss Debutant at $4.60, both really good money in from $8, and Super 2, well, a little bit of money there today too, 5 into $4.80, so the punters are calling this a three-horse race.
Yeah, the money might have come after Formline, mightn't it, after they both tipped it on top, so let's look at that horse Super 2 again. Last start at Flemington. Let's go back to the Flemington Carnival for our replays. Obviously great form lines during the Flemington Carnival. Super 2 in the yellow with the sleeves on the outside leading with the yellow cap, showing plenty of early speed like she always does. But what she has been doing lately is showing early speed and fighting at the end, unlike when she was a 2-year-old. She really fights hard here, doesn't she, Stu?
Absolutely fights hard. And look at this one coming in the white and Sprite in behind. So that's a really good form reference here with Sprite just going through the grades.
Yeah, Sprite was absolutely flying at this stage of the preparation during the carnival, and obviously she's a great form reference, and Super 2, plenty of speed, plenty of fight, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely, and we're going to take you through to another Melbourne replay here. It's Manual, and this is over 1,000 metres also down the straight, and well, another one that was effectively very hard held until final stages.
Yeah, this was almost like watching our last quaddie leg last week, wasn't it? Manuel in the yellow, coming to the outside now, and the jockey almost may as well not be on board here, Stu. Nowhere to go, completely locked up, no luck at all.
No luck at all, and look, really did hit the line here, but next start, comes out, wins by 10 lengths, that's also a factor.
A huge maiden win next start. We went back through the form in detail, the next start, 10 length maiden win. The horses behind him were Hamilton horses, Mount Gambier horses, so maybe not too much depth in the form there. A bit worried about that run.
Yeah, look, absolutely rattled to the line there, didn't it? And you mentioned scope. I mean, that's obviously one of these key factors, and some of these horses really on the rise. That's what we've got to look for.
Yeah, looking across this race, it's a really interesting setup. First of all, the soft track. Let's have a quick look at that. Out of the four horses on top, Flash Vivian's the one we're slightly concerned about. Scope, Stu talked about. Manuel should be unbeaten this prep. Miss Debutant is unbeaten this prep, so both horses on the rise. But the thing about Super 2 and Flash Vivian is they've done it before, they've proven it before, they have the highest ratings in this race.
Well, the punters have zoomed in on 2 or 3 this race. Let's have a look at the overall ratings to see if we've done the same, because it's looking that way from the market.
Yeah, Super 2's on top from Miss Debutant and Manuel, so let's go straight to the best bet. You're choosing between those 3 horses, and we've chosen one. And it's no points for guessing which one it is. It's the top rater for us. Super 2's the best bet. She shows plenty of speed, plenty of fight. She'll be out of trouble while there's 70-to-1 shots and 100-to-1 shots, causing carnage out the back for others. So she's a bet each way for us. And one of those horses will win and run second, we think, so an exacta's a good investment too. A
little bit of confidence there to start the quaddie. Well, the second leg comes a bit earlier. It is the Villiers. It's over 1,600, and well, a lot of Gay's horses, they were doing okay over the spring period, and this one here, Fabrizio, well, it's been up since the Epsom, went down to Melbourne, and how's he going to back up this week in the Villiers?
He's a really interesting runner on Saturday, isn't he? He's got such great form, but he's so deep into his prep. Let's look at the way the race sets up and see how this race suits him. A Group 2, obviously, the feature race all day on Saturday. The famous Randwick Mile, a fair to strong tempo. Fabrizio can go really hard sometimes, can't he? We'll see how hard he goes on Saturday. Soft to heavy conditions, that off-rails bias we talked about. So across the 3 key factors based on those conditions, soft track again, the Randwick Mile has to be a key factor. And stage of preparation, like we talked about, Fabrizio may be a risk. We'll look at that in a second.
Well, when the nominations came out on Monday, there was only one horse that they were after, and it was Fabrizio, and all the money this week has been for Fabrizio, into $3.20, and just well supported all week. And look, there's one there, has a bill, in $8 in behind, and then it's high midnight $9.50, so only $3 under $10 here. So it's really a matter of let's have a look at Fabrizio or let's go wide in this open field.
Well, we'll look at him in a second because, as we said, the key is in this race is Fabrizio. But let's have a look at the obvious lead-up race, the Rosehill 1500-metre race a couple of weeks ago that a lot of these runners came through anyway. Won by a Waterhouse horse again, maybe a lesser Waterhouse in Sweet Redemption, out in the front here with the black and yellow. You can see the rest of the runners marked there. Hazardbill running through the inside really well. Pajaro out wide's a horse that might prefer Randwick, and he was pretty good too as well, Stu.
Yeah, that's him swooping down the red hat. And we've also can't forget Emma Varcio up the rails here too. So a lot of form references coming through his race, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've got Emma Varcio as a horse that's got plenty of power, plenty of sprint. So the Rosehill Dry 1500 metres might have suited that horse on the inside that day.
Well, it's definitely not going to be that dry and hard track this weekend. And we're going to have a look at Fabrizio here. We've talked about him, and we're not going to look at the Epsom. We're going to have a look at it is Randwick. It is 1600, and this was back in October.
Yeah, he won 2 Randwick miles by massive margins either side of the Epsom when he went way too hard in front. A much more even tempo set this day by the jockey in the lead. Over the Randwick mile, he's won there a couple of times, like we said. And he just keeps putting margin on these horses, doesn't he, Stu? Won by a margin in Flemington. Early speed, plenty of fight. He's a Waterhouse warrior.
Yeah, you've got to love a horse that just controls the race, especially when they're well supported, and absolutely just far too good this day. Really extending from about here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is the stay at Iggy Pop in second, which I think Nick Ashman tipped a massive odds on that day, so good on you, Nick. But yeah, way too good for Fabrizio, and he went on to win at Flemington next start by a similar margin.
Well, look, this is a race where we just love to know someone key in that Waterhouse camp, because how's he going to back up? He's been freshened up. Gay said, I'm lining him up for this, and, well, the punters have stepped in. How do we rate him?
Yeah, let's look at the gold bars, and, straight away you'll see soft track, both fine for Fabrizio. We know they're going to be okay. He's a really tough type, so the soft track shouldn't be a problem for him. It's stage of preparation that is the risk. Not many Waterhouse horses get this deep into the prep and keep performing. He's been freshened. The trial was only okay. Dibiani's so good at Randwick in Group 1s. Pajaro should love Randwick. Stage of preparation, Hazardbill, Pajaro, and a couple of others really well suited 3rd and 4th up.
Stage of prep, an interesting one there. But look, this horse has won 7 from 11. He had 2 wins over the mile. I'm expecting to see him right up the top of the ratings. But look, there are a couple that are also in the mix here, and the boys have honed in on a few here. We've got Rudy and Pajaro on top, bit of value. Yeah,
massive value, and it's basically around that stage of prep factor like we talked about. Fabrizio would be on top if he was absolutely at his peak, and that's the big question. Maybe have a look at the yard to find out, but until we find that out, we've got to go for value because we're not quite sure. So the 2 top raters are our best bets in this race. Pajaro, great odds each way. We think he'll improve after that Rosehill run. He's a really tough type. And Rudy keeps running in Group 1s at Royal Randwick. This is easier. He's won this race before.
So he knows what to do. Well, look, there's a look at the first 2 races of the quaddie this weekend on Villiers Day. Stay tuned for more after the break. We'll wrap it up with legs 3 and 4. Welcome back to Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. We had a quick look at the Villiers and the first 2 legs, but now it's on to the razor sharp, and many usual suspects coming back here, and we've got Paul Massara coming in, one coming in just blowing the wind with the wind.
Yeah, fresh form from Weatherly, I think the word is, isn't it? He's usual suspects, a lot of sprinters we've seen before, so let's look at the way the race sets up and see how Weatherly suits this race on Saturday. A listed race, 1200 metres, a fair tempo, a few going forward, but not too quick. Soft to heavy conditions and the off-rails bias we've talked about. So across the 3 key factors for this race, soft track again has to be a key factor. Reliability. Some of these horses are different stages of prep, some not as reliable as others. We have to factor that in. And position and run. Because of that bias late in the day, we want horses not stuck on the rails.
I love the look of a market like this. We've got a horse like Kuro in a bit of rejuvenated form, Grundazide in form, and then some absolute trial watchers like Tony Brassel will be loving the next few on the line of betting. But it's Kuro heading the market here at $6. Has he recaptured the old form? The answer is yes. Grundazide at $6. Then here we go. Imes a Lady, His Majesty and Weatherly, all first up, all with a bit of specking and all well in the market. That's what we're taking out of this.
Yeah, maybe we'll leave it to the expert Tony Brassel. Look at the trials. He always finds one that we miss. He's an expert at looking at those. Let's look at some raced form. Let's look at the rejuvenated horse Kuro 3rd up, and see how he went with a bunch of other horses in the same race. Kuro in the red and the white. Look, before we actually see this part of the race, Kuro got a fantastic position and run trailing the leaders, which could have given him a length or 2 advantage, we think, in this race overall. Ins and out, coming to the outside, running well as always, Stu.
Definitely does. What do we make of Shiraz here out in the pink? That was just one of those runs, I'm not sure.
Yeah, first up, does like the wet, but does love Rose Hill as well. So coming away from the track that he really loves to Randwick could be a negative for that horse. Kuro and Ins and Out, the best runs in that race.
Yeah, we're going to go to another one here with Ins and Out as well, and a few other horses here. That's a good idea. We've got the Monster, and this is over 1,100 metres as well.
Yeah, Ins and Out doing what he does best. In the box seat, looking like he's travelling well, quickening beautifully, and not winning. So the last 50 metres is always a risk for him. The Monster, you think he might be gone after racing on a hot tempo. Not bad at all though, Stu, is he?
He was gone, but no, he stuck 6 on really well here. But Ins and Out, look at that, hits the lead here. Surely he's winning.
Nope, Kaepernick. Good form lines though, at least. Kaepernick won next start as well.
Well, we've seen one thing from these two replays, and that's that Ins and Out is very reliable. He's always around the money. It's just that final 50 metres, so reliability's got to be with Ins and Out on this one.
Depends what you like when you look at your horses. I mean, some people hate those horses that rarely win. Some people, place betters especially, absolutely love them. Really surprising when you look at this race to see 3 gold bars straight across the middle for a horse like Ins and Out. He loves the soft conditions, he's super reliable, and gets the gun position and run just trailing up behind the leaders if he wants it. Some soft track risks for a few, and a position and run risk for Weatherly. He may be too good for them first up. That inside barrier can be a trap at Randwick.
3 gold bars, here we go. Is this the start of the quaddie for us? Is this where we step in?
Yeah, maybe we have a big bet here, but maybe not. He's a non-winner, like we said. He's a top rater, like you'd expect, with the gold bars. The Monster is the one that had plenty of gold bars off the page, though, as well. He's stormed up the ratings from Kuro and His Majesty. They're the 4 on top. Choosing between those 4, why go around those top 2 at those odds? Ins and Out, look, we keep talking about it. If you're betting on Ins and Out on Saturday, make sure you back him each way. And if you're that type of punter, back him a place only. He's always around the mark. He's $4 a place, I think, at the moment. That's great value for a horse like him. And the Monster, he's found the perfect race finally. The odds will firm on Saturday, especially after Nick Ashman tipped him too.
Oh, another one. Well, there's plenty of ways to find a winner, but also a place bet's always good as well.
If you like that kind of thing.
Well, look, we're looking ahead to the last leg of the quaddie, and the Lifesavers, they do a good job on the Australian beaches, that's for sure, but they're also sponsoring the race today, and can they come and save us in the quaddie in the last? That's what we're asking.
We'll need something. This is another quaddie killer. They deliberately schedule these races at the end of the day, obviously, to make it tough for us, but you can get some big winners like last week with Isorich. Maybe we'll find one of those in this race. A benchmark 78, 1,400 metres. Look, it's a big field, but only a few that go forward. It should be at least a fair tempo, soft to heavy conditions, and an off-rails bias we talked about. So across the 3 key factors, soft track again. The 1,400 metres is quite unique. It's a key factor for us. And because we think the track's going to be so chopped up and so testing towards the end of the day, that last 200-metre surge will be really important.
You said we were blown out last week by that 40-50 to 1 winner, and again we're going to have a look at a market here where it's very wide open in the last, that's for sure. Well, let's have a look at it. It's Surplus, well, it's due for a change of luck, racing so well at $6. Sonic Swish there at $6 as well. We've got Invincible Night 7, Dark Steel at 8, Realised Potential, potentially not running as well after Wednesday, and then Asanara out at $11, and Heady Heights there at $11, a third emergency as well. So really big field here in the last.
Yeah, love looking at this race. Anyone, a pure form analyst would love looking at this race because there's so much to look at. You look at Surplus's run last start, it was really strong. Obviously, he sets the benchmark when it comes to form ratings. But let's look a bit left field for our first replay. Schnitzel Knight, Gosford, Class 2, not your usual form reference for a Saturday, but here in the red and blue midfield, Stu, and not a bad run at all.
No, absolutely. And this is a run where I just feel this horse did everything right. And we'll see a little bit after that. It does put a good margin on as well. But, yeah, this is a professional win for mine.
Yeah, he's a progressive horse for the Snowden stable, you know, improving every prep. The thing I loved about this run is he loomed up here. He's in the mix for the last 100 metres. You think it might be a close finish? How does he put a length and a half in the last 50 metres? I've got no idea. A great finish.
Well, there's a look at Gosford, and as we do here on Key Factors, we often go back to a replay from earlier in the year, and last week we showed a Group 1 as well, but here is a Keith Nolan Classic back in Kembla. It's in March, over the mile, so really great form reference here, and we've got a horse called Asanara who was slow out of the gates.
Yeah, we haven't gone to the archives much today, have we? This is one we have gone to back just to see how good this horse is that we're dealing with on Saturday. She wasn't particularly good last start, but she's won the Godolphin Blue with a white cap, surging through the pack. And this is a really good race, Stu. It's almost like looking at Gold Ambition last week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad when you're getting beaten by horses like Single Gaze and Dixie Blossoms, who's got Group 1 and Group 3 form all around it. So you got to love the way it hit the line here.
Yeah, and outstaying an Oaks contender in fourth there. So really strong horse, really good surge if she's in form, because her last run was only okay.
Well, look, we're looking for the gold bars. We've got to wrap it up with a big leg in the quaddie, and let's have a look for the gold here as we look in the key factors, Mike. And Well, there's another one here that's got a few golds.
Really surprised, isn't it? Number 19 in your form guides, third emergency, but she's really well suited. Heady Heights, loves the soft track, loves the 1400 metres. She was out sprinted first up on a dry Rose Hill. She always smashes the line. These conditions really suit her on a Saturday. If she runs in this race, Sir Plush, the favourite, loves the 1400 metres as well, but a soft track has to be a negative for him. He's a really powerful sprinter.
Well, look, there's a look at the key factors, and this has just got to be wide open here. How are we going to split these? What's the team done for us?
Well, there's three on top, which is interesting, isn't it? Because you'd think it would be a completely stacked field. Heady Heights, Sir Plush and Schnitzel Knight are the three on top for us, with a couple of massive odds also in the mix, and we'll go straight to our best bet and pick out one of those. Look, Heady Heights might be the best bet if she does run on Saturday, but we'll go around her. Schnitzel Knight each way at the odds to beat Sir Plush, we think. He's just better odds. And you saw him down the bottom of the page. We can't hide him anymore. Bar plates off, second up, likes a soft track, 70-1, careless. He's the massive roughie in the last.
That's always a good feeling for quaddie players with cheering home a roughie in the last. Well, look, It's an interesting quaddie, I think. There's a lot of confidence there in the first leg, and even the Villiers seems as though it's a leg that we've mentioned a few, and we've got Kuro and the Monster and a few others. But take us through the quaddie. Let's get the stockings filled.
Yeah, confidence early. Not so much confidence late, but value late. That's what you need, isn't it, to get a big quaddie? We're really confident we might snag this one at massive odds. Race 6, they're the three we think will win. Race 8, going to the top raters. The Monster is the value. His Majesty's the best of the first uppers, we think. He's got a really powerful sprint first up and does handle the wet. Race 7 we didn't mention. The Villiers, obviously, they're the top raters there. Don't leave Fabrizio out, even though he's a bit of a risk. And race 9, once again, you can go wider, but they're the 7 we like.
Well, that's a big end of the quaddie, race 9, that's for sure. Well, look, we've had a great look at Villiers day here. I can't wait to get out there, but as we said, it's going to be a huge change from the dry and hard, fast racing of Rose Hill. But all the feature race guides online, 9 a.m. from Friday, and get out there on Saturday. It's going to be great at Randwick. But until next time, cheers from us.
Cheers.